Hey there guys, welcome back to the channel, and today I'm reacting to a Gardner character analyst. Yeah. Alright, let's get into it.
Hi.
Hello.
Great way to open it up, Multiversal Studios.
Welcome back to Multiversal Studios. Now, I am not a Taya Gardner sim.
You sure about that?
However, I am a Taya fan.
That is kind of funny.
And I'm completely aware that Taya has become a meme. And if not a meme, she is an object of ridicule, with people claiming that she's useless.
I don't think she's completely useless, but she seems like it sometimes. Overall, she's not useless to me.
Or an unnecessary character. Which makes me very angry. Now, Taya isn't the perfect character, but she's incredibly important to the flow of the story. Now,
that is very, 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 very true.
for you haters out there, make sure you watch until the end of the video, because I am confident that I can convince you that she's the greatest character ever, or if not that, at least that she's, decent. And then we can become best friends.
She's always been decent.
And now I'm speaking to those Taya Gardner supporters, because I know you guys exist. Let's gather around the campfire and talk about our favourite topic, because this video is the ultimate breakdown of Taya Gardner. Taya Gardner, also known as Anzu Masaki in the Japanese manga, is the definition of hope. No, like quite literally. Anzu is a popular Japanese female name, which means apricot. Now the flowers which produce this fruit symbolize hope and strength in the face
I can't say much, I haven't really read the manga.
of adversity. And her second name, Mazaki, means Cape of Truth. Make of that what you will. Taya is a normal teenage high school girl with the dreams of going to New York and being a professional dancer. However, we don't actually get to see or hear anything about her home life or backstory. We are left to make assumptions based on her actions throughout the show. Now,
Oh, that's such a blurry picture. Wow. Whoops.
I feel like most of the negativity which comes towards Taya comes from the anime.
She talks too much about friendship.
Throughout the show, she seems like a character obsessed with friendship and the well-being of her friends. However, as sweet as that is, the reason she stands out is due to the fact that we're not used to this level of compassion coming from even our closest friends and family. It's usually a known thing which doesn't need to be verbalized between each other. So when we see Taya do that, it comes across as overkill, cringe, and even unrealistic.
Dang, I always pull them the most blurry shots. Anyways, what I'm going to say is a little bit over the top.
That's why friendship is the best thing ever.
Yes, friendship is great.
Now, what we're actually witnessing is a character who cares very deeply for her friends. Now, even though the other three characters, Yugi, Joey, and Tristan, don't have the same reputation as Taya does, the feelings are reciprocated via their actions.
Joey, that was dumb as hell. I don't know why he would jump into the water.
I feel like the adaptation of Taya in the Toei version of the anime was the strongest.
Hold on. Before y'all get mad at me, I know why he jumped in, but still, it was dumb as... It was pretty dumb.
Version of the character. This was due to how the Toei version of the anime was structured, with lots of standalone episodes without a central storyline. This helps give side characters their share of the limelight, as they usually had their own standalone episodes dedicated to them. Very early on in the show, we see Taya defend Yugi against Joey.
I can't really say much about this either. I haven't really watched Season 0 either.
As Joey teases Yugi by stealing the Millennium Box,
I remember that being shared in the anime of Season 1.
containing the pieces of the Millennium Puzzle. Taya proceeds to snatch the box from Joey and returns it to Yugi and scolds.
That is kind of funny if she took it from Joey, who was being a bully at the time.
In the process. This to me shows that from the very start, they tried to portray Taya as a strong character who can defend herself and use her confidence to look out for those who are weaker than her. And most importantly, she doesn't like bullies. There are several examples of this happening.
Who in the world likes bullies? I'm on Taya's side.
One that really stood out to me was at her workplace, which was a local burger joint. Now, just to give you a bit of backstory, there was an escaped convict who was hiding out at the burger place that Taya worked in. Now, when things escalated, as they
That would be kind of scary, actually.
usually do, Taya was taken hostage and blindfolded as a way to keep her scared and less likely to revolt. Now, this convict had a gun. However, when Taya heard that Yuki had been ordered to serve the convict a drink and a cigarette, in her scared, blindfolded state, she yelled out to Yuki to not come closer.
Ugh.
Even when her life was threatened by a gun, she risked her own life to ensure Yuki was safe, even though she was the one in the most danger, and probably the most frightened. Taya is not a useless female character.
Definitely not. Still, I can't really say much since I haven't watched season 0 or the manga.
The anime stereotypically put in order to act as a classic damsel in distress. Taya is a rebel and isn't scared to go against the norm.
A rebel? Okay. Reminding me of Star Wars.
Fight for what she believes in. For example, getting a part-time job whilst being a student is against school rules. However, she gets a job anyway, as she realizes that she needed money in order to save for her dream of being a professional dancer. She then single-handedly takes on the entire school in order to change the school rules, trying her best to allow people to go to school.
That's kind of crazy. The entire school?
And still be able to get a part-time job. However, this leads to the school teachers turning against her, as a certain school teacher, named Mrs. Chono, took a disliking to Taya. She was then a target of harassment. She was targeted by all the teachers in class.
That's against school rule. A student getting bullied by a teacher?
どうしたまだできないのか
でも先生、これまだ治ってません。
予習してるは分かるはずだつまらんことに時間を割いてる場合じゃないぞ
どういうことですか
She even hired students to harass her while she was attempting to collect signatures for her petition to change the school rules, having her petition ripped in front of her face.
Jeez!
Together, we're making
Hold on, y'all. I'll be right back. Alright, I am back.
They even
This is a
spread
long
rumors about
video.
Taya. However, day by day, Taya kept a positive mindset.
署名が集まったら先生たちだって考えてくれるわ。
Rain or shine,
That's good. Anyone that can stay positive is good.
she stood outside her school, waiting for students to pass her so she could collect signatures, being ignored and made fun of by her classmates, being a target for the school teachers. Taya's whole world was falling apart around her.
どうしてこんなことになっちゃうの私はただ校則を少し緩めてほしかっただけなのに。
However, nothing stopped her fighting for what she believed in, and that's something you have to respect.
I do respect that.
And the moment I realized this was the moment I realized that Taya Gardner was worthy of admiration. A common complaint I hear regarding Taya in the toy version of the anime is when Taya and Yuki go to the theme park together.
I also haven't watched this version of the anime.
In episode 14, Taya, whilst there, realizes that a 10 usually comes out when people are in danger, so she pretends to drown in a swimming pool. But at the end of the day, it was just harmless attempts. She was never in any danger, and it wasn't causing any issues for Yugi or the Pharaoh. I mean, look at Lois Lane, who was the love interest for Superman. In the old Superman movies, she literally jumped out of a window in order to confirm Superman's identity. Now, that's going too far.
I have to agree with... okay, I keep doing that. Anyway, I have to agree with that. Who the hell in their right mind would jump out of a friggin' window? No one. Well, almost no one.
Now, also in this episode, Taya gets on a Ferris wheel, which also has bombs in it, as there was a local maniac trying to cause chaos. Now, a lot of people blame Taya
That wasn't on purpose. I don't think she knew.
for getting on the Ferris wheel and actively putting her life in danger. But Taya had no idea there was going to be a bomber on the Ferris wheel with.
I called it. She didn't know?
This was a complete coincidence that Taya had no control over. In episode 17, we finally get a glimpse of who Taya aspires to be like, and it's due to this character called Aileen Rowe. Aileen is an ex-dancer who retired and became a model. She is classed as an A-list celebrity who Taya really looks up to. This, I believe, sets up a clear career pathway for Taya, showing us her future potentially. Now, what I really love about this is, it establishes Taya's goals and dreams. Occasionally, when it comes to side characters, their storylines and goals are put on the bench in the favour of the protagonist. However, this isn't the case for Taya. It's made clear to us right from the very start that she aspires.
We should have gotten more Taya duels. I'm serious.
To be a professional dancer, and the payoff at the end of the Dark Side of Dimensions movie, where she is on a plane to New York, is just a full circle moment for her story arc. Now, the last thing I have to say on this topic is actually from the manga. In the manga, at the start of Death T, which is a dangerous game which Kaiba puts Yugi and his friends through, Taya is actually the reason they survived the first round. You see, in T1, the game was laser tag, where Yugi and his friends participated against mercenaries who had real laser weapons, whereas Yugi and his friends only had toy guns.
Darn, that's really messed up, Kaiba.
However, Taya, unknown to Seto Kaiba at the time, had actually gotten a job at Kaibaland, so she was given a real laser gun. So they used Taya's laser gun in order to defeat the mercenaries. Otherwise, they probably would have died in round 1. So I'm counting that as a massive W for Taya. Now, Taya...
I agree, and this time I didn't pause on the most blurry shot ever. That is a massive win for Taya.
In the anime, for many people, is just a cheerleader who preaches people about friendship. However, she is a lot more. Let's look at the events of the anime and really dive into her character.
Season 1, Duelist Kingdom, Taya vs. Mai. That's all I gotta say.
Strengths and flaws. One of the most impactful scenes with Taya is at the beginning of the anime, where she draws a friendship circle, binding Yugi, Taya, Joey, and Tristan together. Now, firstly, where did she get the marker pen from? Because I'm pretty sure she wasn't carrying it previously to the scene.
That is the most random question, but it's also a good one. Where did she get the marker from? I wasn't really paying attention to that.
But admittedly, this scene is a little cringe. Drawing a physical smiley face on everyone's hands is just a little over the top.
Everyone, put your hands together, and I'll mark us with a special sign.
What gives, Taya?
However, let me explain the reasoning. In that moment, the group was going to be split in half, with Taya and Tristan looking after Grandpa in the hospital, and Yugi and Joey staying behind to challenge Kaiba. So
that's still one of my favorite episodes in the anime. The duel, part of it got stuck in my head. Between Yugi and Kaiba in episode 1.
Therefore, the symbol represented that even if they were separated physically, they would never be separated in their hearts. And the symbol was just a physical representation of that. And this symbol did end up reminding Yugi of their friendship in the duel. And as we all know, friendship is stronger than 3 blue-eyed white dragons.
But it does contain
The Unstoppable Exodia!
Now later on, Taya sneaks onto the boat with Tristan, which takes the Duelist Kingdom contestants to Pegasus' island. Now this isn't something to be glossed over. She isn't a duelist. She isn't allowed to be there. She is purely going to support Yugi. Now this goes back to the earlier point I made about Taya being a rebel. If she's caught, she knows the consequences. However, she does it anyway, and Taya and Tristan hide on the deck.
Jeez, Taya, and Tristan, you're just going along with it? Tristan doesn't seem like the guy to be following someone.
Of the ship, whilst the rest of the duelists are able to go indoors or have private rooms.
Hey, stay down or we're busted.
It's crazy out here. I can't sit still.
And this actually ends up being a godsend, because if it wasn't for Taya and Tristan being present, Yugi and Joey would have most likely been left behind by the cruise ship, as Joey had jumped into the ocean to save the piece of Exodia, and Yugi jumped in afterwards to save Joey. Now,
That signs of a true friend if Yugi going to jump in right after Joey. I don't know why Joey would jump in. I don't care if it's for a card. I'm not jumping in.
Most of Duelist Kingdom is Taya in the sidelines, and I admit, she does play the role of cheerleader, with no real addition to the duels. However, whilst in Duelist Kingdom, you really see Taya for what she is, which is the glue, as well as the mother of the group. She really holds the group together.
Pretty much, yeah.
And is definitely the most mature one. She reminds me of Katara from the Avatar The Legend of Aang. For those who haven't seen that show, Katara can be the most annoying and bothersome character at times, due to all her rules and her inability to have fun. However, when it comes down to it, she is the one that gets the group through the tough times and holds everyone together. And that role, similar to Taya, is irreplaceable. Now, Taya does have a moment in Duelist Kingdom, which can be argued as very critical to the show. Let me explain.
Again, and it's blurry. Again, Mai and Taya.
When Atem was dueling Seto Kaiba, Atem was willing to go all the way and knock Seto Kaiba off the castle in order to get his win. Now, this may be just speculation. However, I personally believe that Yugi had lost control and Atem had taken over. However, due to Taya screaming at Yugi, it gave Yugi the willpower to overthrow Atem's control and do the right thing. I'll let you guys decide for yourself.
Okay, hold on, y'all. I'll be right back once more. Alright, I'm back again.
Stop!
She's right. We can't do this. Stop!
So
Man, get control just on time.
Taya played a strong part in Yugi having the courage to stop the attack and go against Atem. Now, if you look at the consequences of that attack going through, Kaiba would have fell to his death. Now, this isn't the only moment Taya plays a crucial part in the story.
Bro, I gotta stop doing that. Anyways, would he really fall or would he just toss himself off?
When Yugi loses to Seto Kaiba, he loses the will to duel, and he loses all his star chips. However, Mai, who owes Yugi a favor, offers an extra 10 star chips.
He also hardly talked after that.
Yugi. Now, Yugi is still too traumatized to take the offer, so Taya steps in.
I'll duel you. That's right. I'll duel you right here, right now for Yugi.
Now, this to me is such a wholesome moment. Taya is a rookie duelist, and she barely knows the basics of the game. She challenges a professional duelist who is Mai Valentine.
That takes it some actual courage. Like, for real.
This must have taken so much courage, not only because it's Yugi's
I just said that.
star chips that were on the line. But imagine how nerve-wracking it must have been for her. She probably knew in the back of her mind that she had no chance of beating Mai. However, she was prepared to face the fear and humiliation of losing to Mai in order for a chance at winning Yugi's star chips back.
And y'all that are gonna point out that Mai surrendered, I know that. Still, it took courage for Taya to even challenge her.
Be scared, but that fear won't keep me from dueling, or from helping Yugi, or from winning this duel.
And I know Mai ended up letting her win. However, that's besides the point. She won the duel and got the star chips. And most importantly, she helped Yugi take the first step in recovering from the trauma.
Thank you so much.
Sure thing.
I'll never forget what you did for me, Taya. You overcame those fears for me.
That was wholesome. Very wholesome.
And you've given me the courage to deal with mine. I will duel again.
I would say that's pretty inspirational. Taya may be a side character, but she has key contributions to the anime, which in my eyes make her really special. For example, when Yugi and their friends travel to Egypt in order to confront the Pharaoh's memories, she buys Atem a blank cartouche, which ends up being where they were able to inscribe his name, allowing Atem to discover it. It's a small detail, but very, very impactful in the long run. Taya makes small ripples, which end up being big ones.
That's pretty fair to say. I'm gonna agree with that. I don't remember if I watched this fully.
and affect the story in ways you couldn't imagine. Now, we don't get as many standalone episodes for side characters like we did in the Toei version, as they have to focus on the main storyline and the progression of the protagonist. However, we are graced with one episode. I don't know if you guys remember this, but it was pretty much a date where Atem and Taya hang out the entire day, as Yugi believed spending some time with Taya.
I do remember this. I really do. It was in season 2. Early season 2, like the first 5 episodes.
Would quite possibly help Atem reclaim some of his memories. Now, I really enjoyed this episode, just because it was so nice to see Atem being normal for a change. However, it also really helped with Taya's character development, as for the first time ever, we get to see Taya dance. She's obviously very gifted, as she beats Johnny's steps quite easily, even when he attempts to cheat. I think this is a very important detail to add in the story, as we get to see the progression of Joey in his dreams of being a professional duelist, but we never see any kind of progression from Taya.
It's really good, actually. If you can beat a cheater, that's going to be good any day. I don't care if this bot, they're still cheating.
Towards her goal of being a professional dancer. So I think this scene really highlights her determination on never giving up on her dream, as she probably still practices and works really hard off screen. I think if we're talking about Taya's progression throughout the series, we can't forget to mention her duel versus Crump in the virtual world arc. Now, you have to understand, when Noah kidnapped Yugi and his friends, he separated them, leaving Taya to fend for herself. Therefore, she had to duel one of the big five, all alone. Unlike Tristan, Serenity, and Zeke, who were all paired together, Taya had to choose her own death on the spot. Now,
She was basically freezing the entire time. Remember the ice. I do remember the ice. I did watch this duel.
unless we've missed any off-screen duels, which I doubt, her last proper duel was against My Valentine in Duelist Kingdom, meaning she had little to no practice. Now, I can't give Taya all the credit. In that duel, she did have a deck master, which almost acted like a guide for her in that duel, which was the Dark Magician Girl. Now, if it wasn't for the Dark Magician Girl, I don't think Taya would have won that duel, if I'm being totally honest. However, in credit to Taya, she was in the freezing cold, and her body was turned to ice the more she lost life points. She was also dueling Crump, who was very familiar with duel monsters at the time. So considering the circumstances, and if you compare her last duel against Mai, I think she did incredibly well. Now, I haven't gone into the events of Battle City in very much detail, especially when it comes to Taya, because I don't believe she does anything that will blow your socks off.
Who knows? Maybe she did. I mean, I'm not going to rewatch, so... Well, I might, but I'm not going to rewatch it immediately just to find out.
She is there as a support character. However, even on the sidelines, she went through it. She was kidnapped by Marek's goons and was tied to a chair with a giant steel container on top of her, which if a button is pressed, would flatten her on the spot. Later on, she was possessed by Marek and lost control of her body. Taya didn't have an easy ride by any means, but the one thing that really stands out about Taya is that when her life is threatened, she is more worried about her friends than her own safety.
That does stand out quite a bit. Wow, I really paused on them crying.
And this has always been the case in every interpretation of her, and that's regardless of how she is feeling. She overcomes it for her friends. Guys, I hope I shed some light on how I feel about Taya, and why I think she's such a great character, and a necessary one. Let me know your honest thoughts about Taya in the comments down below.
You really did, my guy. This is pretty good. This is going to be pretty long, too. I didn't really plan on recording for over 23 minutes. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed the video. I guess leave a like, subscribe, comment. Deuces.